I find it hard to believe we're going to win another game this season.
The awfulness has been happening really since the beginning of the year,
Yeah.
and it's becoming more and more of a reality.
These players, they're an absolute disgrace.
2 weeks into the De Zerbi reign, we've all watched the training ground videos. We look really good. Sunday, another defeat against Sunderland in the relegation zone properly. Let's get this over and done with so I can watch the golf.
Yeah, that sounds like a far more palatable way to spend our time, because I don't know about you boys, nothing has changed. Well, I mean, the manager has changed.
Yes.
But what we are seeing out on the pitch still feels like the rabbits in the headlights, the feet in concrete, and the decision-making of people that look like they've been smoking wacky-backy for the last couple of weeks. It's just rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I've had quite a nice 3 weeks not watching us, to be honest. I remember at the start of the season, we used to get really annoyed at the international breaks because, it was an interruption to our diet of watching Spurs. But it's been really nice, and it just reminded me today how awful it is when the football comes back.
Yeah.
Dear.
It wasn't even like the worst we've been, and that's saying something, isn't it? I think the worst indictment that I could think of was that the Sunderland ground was dead quiet because the Sunderland fans turned up just assuming that they were going to win today. Didn't even bother getting behind the team. It was like a friendly. It was slow. It was ponderous. It could have finished 0-0 and neither team could complain, really. We had a couple of opportunities, but we didn't look like we were cohesive in any way, shape or form. And we've probably got the worst midfield in the league by a country mile, I would suggest.
Well, I think there's a definite argument for that. I think we're all a little bit flabbergasted about how little Gallagher appears to be offering, because, I mean, we are playing that boy a wedge, and he is doing nothing to earn it at the minute.
I don't know what he's good at. What does he do? What is his thing?
Sideways passes, he did a few of them. Other than that, I sort of gave a couple of fouls away. So yeah, look, you're calling out our midfield. We haven't had a set of midfield. We haven't had any of the managers in situ this year to go, this is how I'm going to work the Tottenham midfield. I'm going to have either two sitting and a creative mid. I'm going to have three solid ones, which kind of felt like what the approach was trying to be today. I'm not going to have you dissing Gray, because I think he's still the only one that has put in a shift all season. Bergvall.
I've got something to say about Gray. Gray. So there was a video put out, because we get all the training ground videos, don't we? Because it's like, oh, look how on it the players are. Oh, look, they're really intense. They really want to work hard. And there was a video put out of De Zerbi training 1-to-1 with Gray, shooting from the edge of the box. And then Gray just sits so deep all game. It's like, well, what was the point of that then? And I appreciate they're going to be doing lots of different things. But the worst thing I think that we've got to look forward to this week is another week of this is what's been going on the training ground. And then it'll be Brighton at home, and none of it will pass us to training ground, will it? Yeah,
maybe it's propaganda. We don't want to show them what we're actually going to be doing on the game.
They can all play one-touch football under the press in coaching setups, but as soon as we get on a pitch, it's like they can't even. The confidence is so drained out of them. They can't seem to get out of this funk at all, can they?
Well, I mean, it was the very first few seconds of the game, and we had the thing that I've mentioned many, many weeks throughout the season, where it goes back to Romero. He sticks his right foot on top of the ball, stops, and has a little look around.
Yeah, but that's De Zerbi ball, though, isn't it? That's how De Zerbi plays, isn't it?
Well, that's how everybody has been playing. But yeah, I don't know. It's, as you say, it's really difficult to find anything different to say, because honestly, I couldn't put my finger on a single thing that you could say, oh yeah, that looks different. I can see that they've been working on something there. But, we played three strikers, and I think we had one half chance throughout the whole game.
Yeah,
it was.
The thing that has changed is De Zerbi, and even he has come out after the game and said, we don't need a coach.
Yeah.
It's not a coach these players need. And it's sort of what you said after Frank got sacked, Mark. The players need an arm around them. The players need a cheerleader. The players need somebody who is going to give them the impetus to feel like they can do this, that they got performances in them.
Mm.
But look, that goal epitomized everything that is wrong with this Tottenham side. It wasn't a sort of a tricky barnstorming rapid run through our defence.
Well, let's be honest, we laid the red carpet out for him, didn't we?
Yeah,
It was like
it was a trundle up to the edge of the box.
Trundle. That was the word I was looking for. An absolute trundle. And everybody backed off. And what happened? Not only does he get the opportunity to shoot, but obviously takes a massive deflection and gives Kinski no chance. And let's face it, that's another thing he didn't need, being that he's probably, I don't know how close Vicario is to coming back, but he doesn't need that, given everything that's gone on. And the absolute, I mean, Sunderland fans, the loudest I heard them was when they were giving Kinski pelters throughout the entire game.
If there's one tiny positive, and I don't think it matters in the grand scheme of things, but actually I thought Kinski was very good.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I thought his distribution was good. He made a good save. He was certainly no detriment to that performance at all. And a
Not
couple
a
of
fault
his
for the goal
longer
at all.
passes would, yeah, no, absolutely not. There isn't anything really to say, is there? You know, there'll be hundreds of pods analysing how bad we are. It is a lack of
intensity,
concentration, belief,
the ability and confidence to do anything quickly. They don't trust each other. They don't trust themselves. I think Kolo Muani is an epitome of the players that the effort might be there. They might be trying in their heads and they might be putting it out there on the pitch, but it's all about Kolo Muani. He doesn't seem to want to do anything for any teammate. It's all about, is he going to be able to do anything? And then he just falls over. And I was looking at it and thinking, well, where has this all come from? And I honestly think Lange and Levy and whatever that conversation was over the last few years, they built a squad for what football in the Premier League was 5 years ago. Tiki-taka, nice and soft, every foul is given, but things have changed now and it's gone back to, you know, a more robust game. I mean, there is more physical contact, but we haven't got any players that can deal with that at all.
Well, Paulinho can definitely do that.
Well,
but obviously,
yeah, but
we only saw him late on.
he can put a tackle in. But what I mean is, he can't dominate a midfield at all, can you? You look at the midfields in the Premier League, and they're big, strong, powerful. You know, you look at Man City, and they've gone more direct. They've got more muscle in their midfield than they did previously. You know, Arsenal were obviously that they just want to manhandle everybody, don't they? But I was watching the Chelsea game this afternoon, and Chelsea have got the same problem. They're just weak. And if they're playing with confidence, and if the Spurs team were playing with confidence, they would win quite a few games. But they will just get bullied off a pitch. They'll get bullied off a pitch.
Yeah, duels in it. They don't win duels. They don't win tackles.
No.
They're so far away. Like, there is no press. There is nothing. I find it almost impossible to make a case for us staying up. I find it hard to believe we're going to win another game this season. I can't. You know,
it's difficult to see.
You look at the fixture list, and you know, I was listening to Carragher after the game, and I have to agree with him. I mean, you look at it. I mean, do we beat Brighton? I don't think so. Then you go to Wolves, who are bottom of the league, but they got smashed by West Ham. But you still think, you look at that Wolves side and where they're at and where their heads are at, you know, they know they're down, so they're not playing with any pressure at the moment. It's just...
Yeah, and they're going to want to at least put an effort in front of their fans for their last few home games, even if away games they fall away.
Yeah.
We've got a real... Yeah.
And also, let's go back to something we've been saying for weeks now. Everybody else wants it to happen. So when West Ham got that result against Wolves, half of every article I saw had a reference to Spurs
in the headline.
West Ham win to put Spurs in the bottom three. You know, and you know, it's that thing where, you know, Wolves would love it if they beat us, because how hilarious would it be that a team that's likely to get relegated drag us down with them? And it's the narrative that because we're such a big club, this is the year that one of those too big to go down clubs goes down.
Yeah, it's strange. I mean, I was thinking after the game because this is the thing as well, isn't it, about the league? It's not like the cup where you have, you know, a result at the end of a game. It's 90 minutes, and up until the game ends, you don't really know what's going to happen. That's why cup games are so good. But it's just this kind of this slow death, and certainly over the last few weeks, my head has been, we are going down. And I just wonder how I will feel when it is confirmed and how bad it will be. Because part of me thinks, you know what, it won't be that bad because I've spent weeks kind of getting used to the idea.
I don't think it'll be. I almost don't think it'd be as bad as losing a cup final by
No,
any stretch of the
that's what I
imagination,
mean. That's
because
what I mean.
it's not that instant
No,
horror, is it? The awfulness has been happening really since the beginning of the year, and it's becoming more and more of a reality.
it's just like a drip feed, though, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
it's not going to be a shock.
and also it looks really deserved,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
because as you
Yeah,
say,
100%.
there isn't a team that you can look at and you go, well, we could beat them.
Yeah, I saw lots of things online today and talking about the referee's
Yeah,
performance.
I was just going to say the same thing,
But
but
I'm
yeah,
sorry, but I mean, yes, there were one or two that were a little bit frustrating. But as we said, I mean, we messaged during the match. I just got fed up with seeing Spurs players fall over at
yeah,
the sign of any physical
they're just
contact.
weak.
yeah,
The penalty
They're
was
just
never a
weak.
penalty. It was,
I think the penalty. I think you could argue that he had he could sort of got pushed and then he couldn't put his foot down, but and all
mm,
this sort of stuff.
maybe.
But yeah, I think once it goes to VAR, it's going to be overturned because they'll
Yeah.
look at it, and everybody, we haven't had a penalty all season.
No.
Which you do think, hold on, we're
Yeah, but
31
but like
games
we
in
said
now. How
before,
have we
though,
not had a penalty?
but we don't attack.
Yeah, but that
This
is
is the
true.
trouble. But I was thinking, obviously, we've not won a game in this calendar year. I can't think of any of those games where I've come away thinking, "Oh, we didn't deserve that result." Like as you say, I don't think we've been unlucky. I mean, you can talk about injuries all you want. Okay, fine, but I can't think of any game this year where we've been unlucky, not
Yeah.
not not to grab a point or not to get a win. We
yeah,
are where we are, and we fully deserve to be there.
yeah. I think you can say as a team, we've been unlucky. So there've been things where we haven't got the rub of the green. The goal today, it's not like Sunderland were peppering our goal. They took a spurious shot from outside the box. It rebounded madly off one of our defenders, and it flew past our keeper. And there have been moments. So I think we have been unlucky. The amount of injuries that we've had, the fact that we brought in Thomas Frank, who was considered one of the safest hands in the league, and it went so bad, so bad. And I'm going to say again, I've been saying it every week. These players, they're an absolute disgrace. I think they're an absolute disgrace.
But that's not bad luck.
No, it's not. It's
That's
not.
just
I'm not.
mismanagement.
It absolutely. But what I'm saying is that there are things which, there are things which, if things were taken as a whole, if you're looking at sort of all of the variables and all the things that could go wrong for Tottenham, they have gone wrong for Tottenham. Going as far as to say that, Tudor joins us, only lasts a few games, his father passes away. It just seems like if there's something that can go wrong for Tottenham and for anything surrounding Tottenham, it will, because the spotlight is on us. And, I don't know where to put the anger, the frustration, the confusion, because like I'm with you, Mark. I don't see us winning another game. I think I've been saying for a few weeks that relegation is the likely outcome for us. So yeah, just someone put us out of our misery now, maybe.
Yeah, I think you can say bad luck and all that kind of thing, but there was an opportunity. The injuries have been terrible for a season and a half, and probably for 2.5 seasons, to be honest. Um, and we get a window where we bring in Conor Gallagher with a big fanfare that we're now going to spend money on wages, And all you can take from the Conor Gallagher signing so far is that you do not want these people being allowed to offer £200,000 a week contracts to people,
Yeah.
because it's just going to make us bankrupt. I mean, if they had the opportunity to do that, there, there is nothing to make you think that if by the skin of our teeth we stay up and they do spend some money, that money is going to be well spent at all,
Yeah.
because they are only going to sign players that they can easily get through the door and are desperate to be given a big contract. If we stay up this year, then I can see us doing a Leeds.
Yeah. Well, that's just what I was going
You
to
know,
say.
we're going to end up with players on 5, 6 years contracts that we cannot get rid of. We're going to go down eventually, and we're going to have a real problem. And I don't think it's a foregone conclusion by any stretch of the imagination that you come back up from the Championship.
No.
Anyway, doesn't matter who you are. So if you get relegated, it's a disaster. It is a disaster. But Phoenix have to rise from the flames, don't they? And eventually things turn around, and you look at Leeds, you look at Coventry, you look at Newcastle even Aston Villa. They hit that rock bottom, and through a number of changes, they managed to come back up and look a better outfit. But
Yeah. Only problem with that, Graham, is that if you stick a cockerel into the flames, then all you get is a roast chicken. So so right now, all I can see is getting roasted.
yeah,
Yeah.
Can I say one thing about today's game? And that is, there was a moment pretty much when sort of the game was gone, at least from us getting a win out of it. Tell, Paulinho, and Xavi came on, and that lineup, that having those players available, started to make you feel like there was a bit more control, and the attacking intent was there. I'm not saying the quality was there. We were pretty much devoid of quality for the entire game, but I at least felt that when those three came on, we had a bit more of an outlet. We have been extolling the virtues of Gray recently, but I thought Gray and Bergvall were really static. I know Sunderland press high, but if they're doing that, then you have to move.
Gray was put as a deep six, wasn't he?
Mm.
And then they just put two players on him. And it's like, it's just so obvious all the time what we're trying to do. And I appreciate he's got to keep things simple. When he can't overcomplicate things, because these precious players, they need simple messages all the time. Um, and it needs to be really easy. But they obviously get confused with the most basic instruction. And the problem is, a well-drilled team like Sunderland, who are being fantastically coached, could be all over it. You have to be able to do things quickly. You don't create any sort of chances. And we said this one of our first pods of the season. We have to play quicker. We have to play one-touch football, because we're not creating anything, because we're too easy to defend against. And now we have no confidence. We can't get anywhere near that
No,
speed of play to create anything. We are. I mean, I've tried to hang on to the hope that something will turn around, but you can see at Brighton on Saturday, there'll be another change of team, because this one didn't work. So he'll put Xavi in for a little bit more vitality in midfield. I'd imagine he'll come in for Bergvall. Might put
I reckon
Paulinho in.
tell start. I'd have thought.
tell
Yeah,
start.
maybe Tell will start. Danso will come in, won't he? Because Romero's probably out for the season. But what you can guarantee that it'll be a disjointed, because they haven't played together, and then that will change around again. I'm really, really trying to cling on to things can change quite quickly, and things can change, and you just need one result to bounce away from this. But we're going to run out of games. That's the biggest fear. Chelsea will turn up for one game this season now, and it'll be the game against us in the penultimate game of the season, and that'll be it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've discussed how I hate Chelsea more than Arsenal, and it's just I almost want us to be so bad that we are down before the Chelsea game. I don't think I could bear having Chelsea do that. That would just that would finish me off.
Yeah, things can change quickly. That's always remember. Sport is a really strange thing, and you can be absolutely out of form and absolutely look like a disaster for no rhyme or reason. things can change quite quickly. The problem is we can't play Tottenham. Dr. Tottenham can't cure Tottenham.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but
How unfortunate is that?
yeah, it is the case though that if we had have won today, we would have gone 15th above Leeds.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
is still tight. It is still tight. But yeah, as you say, it's just, you just don't see anything. I haven't seen anything all year that suggests that we have anything in our locker to be able to get a win.
No, but today a deflective goal. If that doesn't fly in, then you could have scraped a 0-0. And if the gods were on our side, that penalty might have been
Mm,
controversially given, and we might have had a penalty. And it's you just need that game
yeah.
where, for no rhyme or reason, we get a result, and
Well,
we
Deserby
will
said
get.
that, didn't he?
I think we will win a game before the end of the season. Just how late that comes.
Yeah, probably
And
Everton at
whether it
home when
changes
we're
the
already
match.
down.
Yeah, in front of 4,000 fans.
Yeah. God. The thing that upsets me the most, is that we started doing this pod on the back of the Europa League win. And just to think, I mean, I saw something quite amusing today, actually. It showed the league table when Leicester won the Premier League. And it was saying, can you believe that the winners of the Premier League are likely to go down to League One? The team that finished third are likely to get relegated to the Championship. And the team that finished second are likely to still finish second. And it just made me smile.
Yeah, but that's where it's got to. That we're having to look over there to find our joy.
Yeah,
I think I've gone through the anger now. I think I've
Yeah.
gone through the anger, the frustration.
yeah,
I'm now at the point of, let's just talk about the good memories from when Harry Kane and whoever out of the three of us said it was time to go for Sonny needs shooting, because
Hey, don't put that all on me. Look, I'm going to say it now. I think the best thing for us to do is have acceptance. I don't see anything changing. And look, if something happens, then we get to enjoy it. But I just can't see it changing. So yeah, hold your noses, because I think these last 6 games are going to be a stinker.
Cool. Right. So let's do something different, and our unique selling point on this pod. So we got a Tom's teaser.
Of course we have.
Play that jingle.
Tom's teaser.
Right, boys. Okay, so obviously we skipped our Tom's teaser last week because we wanted to get the reaction to Zerby pod out, and there was an
We had a complaint. And we
absolute
had a complaint.
backlash.
Yes.
Yeah, at least one person said that they were absolutely infuriated by the lack of a teaser. So it's back. Again, I'm in a position here where I can't look at this game or the next game for my inspiration. In fact, I've had to look into the future for inspiration.
Oh my
So I
God,
thought-
this is not the Tom's teaser about Lincoln City, is it?
Yeah, how many of Wrexham players are we going to buy? Tom's teaser would like to apologise for the mispronunciation of Vuskovic. Now, this is looking at we've got some good young players waiting in the wings for Tottenham. One of them is obviously Vuskovic, currently on loan at Hamburg, and he's having a great season over in Germany. So I thought, let's focus on what could be Tottenham's future. So what I've done is I've pitted him against 3 very well-established centre-backs across Europe. So from the Premier League, from La Liga, and from Serie A. And I'm going to give you guys a stat each from each, and you're going to tell me whether he beats that player in that stat. Ready? Here we go. Now, the first round is going to be from the Premier League, and I've chosen, well, arguably the best centre-back in the Premier League for the past 4 or 5 years. That's Virgil van Dijk. Not necessarily this year, but we're focusing on their league performances this season. And Graham, because you're behind, I'm going to ask whether you want to go first or second.
I will go first.
Okay, so Virgil van Dijk is the player we're pitting him against, and it's in the attacking stats that we're doing so. So, goals. Do you think Vuskovic beats Virgil van Dijk for goals this season?
Yes, I do.
And you would be right. Vuskovic has got 5 goals. Van Dijk has got 3. So that's 1 point to Graham. Okay, in the stat of big chances missed, Vuskovic, is he got less or more than Virgil van Dijk?
Less.
Is right. So he's only missed 5 chances, while Virgil van Dijk has missed 6. We move to La Liga, and Big Bruiser, who was at Chelsea, currently playing for Real Madrid, Antonio Rudiger. And this is going to be passing stats. So, Graham, passing stats. Vuskovic against Rudiger on accuracy. Who comes out on top there?
Ooh, because it depends how the team's played, doesn't it? Because Rudiger could just be
does.
passing it 10 yards. I think that Rudiger is not going to be the best passer of the ball out of the two, but I do think his passing stats were going to be better. So I will go Rudiger.
What? I wonder what you're going to do then. But you pick right. Vuskovic, his passing stats is 83%, still pretty good for a defender. Rudiger, 93%.
Yeah, but he's probably just passing it for a goalie, isn't he?
Probably.
I mean, come on. Defenders can't pass. We all know that.
Okay, so we're going for expected assists per game. And Mark, I will give you a clue here that this is below 1. So it's going to be one of those point something estimates that they accrue over the season. So Rudiger against Vuskovic. Who's got the higher expected assists?
Yeah, I don't think Rudiger would be doing much assisting. So although Real Madrid, I'm quite sure, have scored way more goals than Hamburg, I'm still going to go with Vuskovic.
Okay, so also you said Vuskovic, and I'm saying Vuskovic. So
yeah, I don't even know how you pronounce his name.
I prefer the way you're saying it. Graham, do you want to weigh in here about how we actually say the guy's name? No, stunned to silence. Well, you're right, Mark. Vuskovic does have a better expected assists, 0.99. So that's like he's expected to assist at least once every game. That's how good a season he's having. And
No, I assume that's over the season.
I think it must be over the season.
Over the season.
I mean, I've never been good with stats. I should also say that you're looking
Or
at
reading them.
Yeah. But this is all from sofascore.com. If anyone wants to write in and explain what those actual stats mean, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, Rudiger, 0.32. So essentially, he's 3 times better with expected assists than Rudiger. So
just what you want from your centre-back.
Yeah.
In a whole season.
But this is the thing, he seems to be a ridiculously rounded player.
It's the best player Spurs have had for about 50 years, and he'll never play for us. Yeah, there's no way if we go down, we've got any hope in hell of keeping him.
You are kind of ruining my look to the future.
Yeah, I know.
Take.
Just pick something that's wound me up even more than the game.
Well, maybe you can perk yourself up by winning this, because it's the final round, and we're going for Bastoni at Inter Milan and defending stats. Serie A, obviously well known for its defensive approach. So this is going to be about balls recovered. This is Bastoni versus Vuskovic. What are we thinking, Graham? Who wins out here?
I believe he has the best stats of any player in the Bundesliga for this.
So he has been paying attention. You're right, and this is mad. Vuskovic 4.4, Bastoni 3.7. I mean,
crazy.
What he's doing at the minute is ridiculous. Wouldn't it be lovely when he never plays for us? And Mark,
and Lange takes 20 million for him. Yeah, good deal, mate. Good deal.
Mark, so you have
profit.
to get.
It's all profit.
Mark, you have to get this right, otherwise Graham will win, and I know how much that will upset you. So, errors leading to goals. Vuskovic versus Bastoni. Who do you think wins out?
I'm going to say that Bastoni has made more errors leading to goals.
And you'd be wrong. Vuskovic has made 1 error. Yeah, look, he's
only 19. He's
19.
Come on, Mark.
Just. So he has made an error this season leading to a goal. Bastoni has made 0 errors leading to a goal. And Graham has made 0 errors this evening. Well done, Graham. You have won this week's Tom's Teaser, taking the scores this season to Graham 11, Mark 16. You could, with 6 games left, you could still turn it around.
Wow,
That'd be a hell of a comeback.
How exciting.
Tom's teaser.
Elite mentality, that's what it is. They need to get me in the training ground. Right, well done, me.
Well done, Graham.
Play that cheer jingle.
We don't have one. We haven't needed it this season. All right, so on to the predictions. Obviously, we lost 1-0 to Sunderland. Tom was the only one that once again predicted that we weren't going to win. I still don't know why me and Graham haven't got it into our thick heads yet that we are not going to win football games. Anyway, luckily, Tom didn't get the right result. And so only 1 point for Tom. So he extends his lead at the top of the table. He now has 38. I have 30. Graham has 22.
Yeah, I've started to hate this game only because it's the one where all of my worst fears are realised. I'm getting rewarded for being a miserable sod.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can carry that on. We are home to De Zerbi's former club. So, yeah, how do we think we're going to get on with that one?
Brighton at home on Saturday. My prediction is that we will lose. I think we'll lose again. I just can't see us picking up a point. Brighton are a better team. I think we'll lose 2-0.
Sounds plausible, Tom.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another 2-1 loss. I think there's a chance we might get a goal out of Tell. But yeah, I mean, I can't see any shoots of recovery, especially after losing Romero as well.
All right, well, my prediction is a purely tactical prediction. So I'm going to say we're going to win. We're going to win by 1-0, and Xavi is going to be the hero.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
We can dream.
I really hope you're right, Mark. I really, really, really hope you're right.
So, Graham, what do you reckon? Can you squeeze out a positive Spurs?
Now everybody, haven't you heard? Here's a guy that can polish a turd. When you think you've got nothing to give, he'll stay positive. Positive Spurs.
I think the biggest positive that I can pin on the current predicament is that it will force massive changes. It will absolutely guarantee that the club will have to start again in the way that it does things, in the sort of players that it has to have to try and get out of the Championship. You can't have the sort of players we've got at the moment to have any hope of getting through a 42-game season in the type of grind that the Championship is. They're going to have to be mentally and physically strong. So there'll be massive changes in the summer.
And of course, De Zerbi. So unlike, because when we did our reaction video, it was pretty soon after the announcement was made. But De Zerbi has said that even if we do go down, like, he's here for the long-term project, that he is going to stay in the Championship now. I mean, I'm still not sure I believe that particularly, but if that is the case, that's potentially a good thing as well, because I think he is a top-class manager. So, as you say, Graham, it is going to force change, and it might be this real hard realization and reset that the club needs to just completely throw out everything that's happened up to now, start again, completely clean sheet, top quality manager at the helm, bring us back up and put us on a much better trajectory than we are at the moment.
Will he be the Birkinshaw, and Archie Gray, the Steve Perriman? We go down and we come back in 2027, 28. Archie Gray is now an absolute top quality Premier League midfielder and Spurs through and through. We've got a proper captain that loves the club and, has been through it. And we've got a manager that has embedded himself and, can take us to new heights. Is it 77 in that aspect as well?
Yeah, look, the club has taken a massive gamble on De Zerbi, and look, it may yet pay off. One of the things I've heard is that giving him such a long contract was a way of not only sort of trying to ensure that he came to the club to show that you were really backing him, but also to ensure that the people at the top of the club had the power. So they're basically saying to those players who've got 1, 2, 3 years left in their contract, the manager goes, well, look, I'm here for the long haul. I'm going to outlast you all. So you either get on board or you move on. And I sincerely hope that De Zerbi can commit himself to the club, to embed himself, to be the coach we genuinely need. But we need these players to step up, and we're running out of time. How many of these players we take down to the Championship, I don't know. But for me, you could really, really look to clear the decks. And yeah, if there's one ray of light at the end of this, Graham, I think you're right. There's the chance for renewal, and I can get on board with that.
Yeah, I think that has to. I mean, that surely happens whatever the result is at the end of the season. Whether we do go down, whether somehow the miracle happens and we stay up. There has to be absolute sweeping changes from top to bottom at this club because, otherwise nothing changes.
I mean, the only one that you sort of say has to stay if you've gone down this route is De Zerbi. Everybody else around him,
yeah,
goes. There's no point having a sporting director that isn't going to just do what De Zerbi says. Why have a sporting director? It hasn't worked. Just, give him the keys to the kingdom. It's no less a risk than having Lange go out on with his spreadsheet again.
Exactly. And on that note.
Yeah, well, we do still have 6 games to go. I know we've been essentially saying that we're down and it's done.
18
but mathematically,
points to play for.
Exactly, we've got 18 points to play for. It isn't over. We still have to believe. Brighton coming up. Let's see what happens, and let's just all pray for a miracle.
Yep. Or the other way to look at it, there's only 6 games left.
Yeah, that is also true. That is also true. The pain will be over soon.
and even through the pain, we're still going to be there. We're still going to be there, and we're still going to say, "Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!"